we said the rosary while we were watching this light. And every now and then the light would disappear, and then it would reappear, and disappear, and reappear. And finally, the road to Krzyżowac, you know, those of you who know the road that goes to Krzyżowac, there's a bit where it narrows down only one car width, and there's a little kink in it. At that point, that's more or less the last place you can see the summit. The light came back with a vengeance. It was brighter than before, and somehow we must have been maybe 300 meters from it as the crow flies. But it seemed like we were a lot closer. We seemed to see it as though it was a lot closer. And we were both stunned into silence. We didn't speak watching it, and we didn't tell anyone in the group. When we got back to the group, we told them very lamely, oh, we saw a light on the mountain, and then refused to speak and say anything more. Even to the priest, there was a priest with us, a Monsignor who taught in the seminary in Penang, and we didn't tell it. We just, again, very lamely said there was a light. And you know, when we got home, back to Singapore, I was talking to Kevin on the phone a few days later, and I said, do you remember that morning? And he said, how could I forget? And I said, great, okay. You take a piece of paper and a pen and write down, independently of me, what you thought you saw, and I'll do the same, and we'll compare notes. And we described the same thing with one difference of detail. The light was in the shape of a young girl. She had a veil on her head, a simple veil that hung straight down. She had narrow but square shoulders, because I remember looking and thinking, oh, you work out, you know? She has square shoulders. And she wore a very simple dress, and she had her hands in the Immaculate Conception position. A very simple dress. It was something like my habit, but the sleeves were sensible, not like these 19th century romantic sleeves that get stuck on doorknobs and things. You know? And the rest of the dress was very simple. I struggled to describe it because, you know, trying to get a man to describe women's fashion. It was a dress. It was lovely. How does my dress look? Oh, it's lovely. You know, I don't know. It was a dress. But everything about her was very simple, and she was young. I would say about 16. When I say 16, I mean by British and Irish standards, because a few months ago I met some 14-year-old American girls, and they were huge. So I thought, no, okay, so 16-year-old British or Irish girls, and I can't emphasize enough, girl, not a woman, a girl, young, petite, beautiful, very beautiful. And she was watching us, and she was alive. Okay. So we were quite dumbfounded by this, and we had to make a decision. Do we stay and watch her, or do we climb? And we thought, let's climb. Maybe she'll be at the top. And we climbed, and somewhere between stations 10 and 12, we looked out, and you can see Pot Berdoa, Apparition Hill, below you, and on the left-hand side. And you know where there's now a statue marking where she first appeared? In those days, it was just a bare patch of ground where everyone had taken soil from where she first appeared. And she was standing there. But this time she was facing the church and the village. Her hands, again, in the Immaculate Conception position. So we thought, oops, wrong mountain. Okay, we picked the wrong one. And it would have taken 3 hours to come down and go up the other one. So there's no way. So we carried on climbing. And at the top, there was a couple from Florida. In my diary at the time, I wrote elderly couple from Florida. They were in their early 60s, I think, you know. But you know, when you're 19, 20, you think 60s are old. So, and they had seen nothing. I was still suspicious. I was looking around them whether they had lighting equipment and this and that. But there's nothing, absolutely nothing. They had seen nothing, and we told them nothing. We just said, oh, we saw a light, and left it at that. And we didn't talk about this for years. I said the one difference of detail, she also had like an oval-shaped aura of light around her. And the one difference of detail is that Kevin says he saw that this aura was tinged in blue. I don't remember that. I was looking at her. I was too busy looking at her to look at what was around her. Okay? Then we came down from, it's not a simple matter seeing her. It's not like, oh, I see you and, you know, and see that and see the camera. I see my microphone. Looking at her, you also felt how she loved you. And it's very powerful. She loves you with this very directed love. It's like you're the only one in the whole universe, the only child. You know, so it's very powerful and disconcerting love at the same time. Okay. then we came down from the mountain and we went to the church. The Croatian Mass had finished. So it was about 10 past 8 or 15 past 8 in the morning. And the church was empty, except for me, Kevin, who went around taking pictures of the stained glass windows, and Father Petar Ljubicic, who was wondering who is this strange Japanese dude taking pictures. Okay, that's Kevin. Not that he's Japanese, he's Chinese actually. But, okay. And I went to stand somewhere where the statue of Our Lady is, about the 4th pillar back. And in those days there were no pews at the side. You had a clear run all the way to the statue of Our Lady. And of course the statue also said Lourdes underneath. Now they've covered it with a sign saying Medurorje, but underneath it says Lourdes. Okay? And I was standing by the 4th pillar thinking, I've lost my mind, because Our Lady appears to the children of Fatima and to Saint Bernadette, not to, I know what you're thinking, not to scumbags like you, Father. You're right. Not to scumbags like me. That's what I was thinking. And I was thinking, I can never tell anyone about this. First of all, because no one would believe me. And secondly, because it was so personal. I didn't speak about this for years, because I think I would rather have been stripped naked and paraded in front of live television, in front of billions of people, than tell them this, because it was so personal. And while I was thinking all these thoughts, the second half happened. Now, I will always swear on the Gospels, I saw a beautiful young girl made of orange golden light standing on Križevac, on Cross Mountain, behind us, behind me. But the second half was a voice in my head. I couldn't swear to that, because St. Teresa of Avila tells us, voices in our heads could come from God, could come from the devil, or come from your imagination. Okay? So, this bit you have to take with a grain of salt, or maybe a kilo of salt. Okay? Our Lady, it was a voice, a woman's voice. And she said, you are happy because you've seen me. So I said, yes, I'm very happy. And then I was very shy, so I was like, oh, you know, I can't talk to strange women I haven't been introduced to. So I said, who are you? And she said, I am your mother, the mother of God. I want you to tell everyone you meet that I am their mother and that I love them. When she spoke, she made you feel everything she was saying. So when she said that I am their mother, she meant it as though she had physically given birth to each one of you. She was planting a flag and claiming you. When she said, and that I love them, she crushed me with this love to show me how. And it was like being like a cartoon banana slipping out of its skin when you squeeze it, you know. And I was beside myself with joy, ecstasy, literally in ecstasy, I guess. And I was thinking, I want to see you again. So I said to her, Blessed Mother, I'd very much like to die now, please. It would be marvelous, wouldn't it? I could drop dead here in the church. You know, it doesn't matter where they bury me. And I could go with her, because she's so beautiful. And she said, would you not like to live a bit longer to help me? Now, when she said a bit longer, again, I knew she meant anything from 9 days to 90 years. And I was thinking, oh dear, how boring, having to live till I'm old, you know, till I'm 50. I don't know. You know, having to live, I thought, how boring, how dull, and what a waste of my life. I could go with her now. I don't think it was a real choice. I think she was just trying to very gently tell me I had to stay. But I thought it was a real choice. So I said to her, all right then, but you'd better make sure it's worth my while. Okay. And now, I wasn't trying to be cheeky, but, you know, because I was still very much like a child, I thought, yeah, you know, I really didn't want to stay. I wanted to go with her. So I said that, and she laughed. Okay, so then I thought, oops, I better not say that kind of thing again. But also, that was the one and only time she let me say what I wanted to say. Okay? She laughed. A beautiful laugh. And after that, she didn't let me say whatever I wanted to, because I had so many things to ask her. You know, is Elvis still alive? Who built the pyramids? And who shot JFK? Are there aliens? Are there UFOs? And all these questions for her. But after that, she didn't let me say what I wanted to say exactly. You know, she controlled the conversation properly, like a mother. Then she said, Do not begin to imagine you deserve to see me. God gives grace as He chooses. So, right at the start, she said, don't worry about it. You don't deserve any of this. And then she said, you will forget much of what I'm telling you. That's true. Because I said to her, no, I'll never forget a thing. This is also wonderful. And immediately after this, when the conversation finished, I forgot it. There's a big gap in my memory. And it's like, when you've had a general anesthetic, you can't remember, but you know there's a part of your life that you should remember. Something's missing. It's like that. Something is missing. Sometimes I have a rough idea what it's about, but it's not important. It doesn't concern anyone else. And then she said, the day will come when you will regret ever seeing me. And I said, how can you say that? This is the best day of my life. And then she said, the day will come when you will deny ever having seen me. So I thought, a good rule of thumb is quit while you're behind, so I didn't protest. I thought this is sounding a bit like St. Peter, being told he's going to deny our Lord. So I didn't protest, but I was a bit hurt, but also I was just so happy talking to her. So, and all of this has come true, because 5 years after this, within 5 years, I was at medical school in Leeds, in Yorkshire. And I remember saying to Our Lady, I wish I'd never seen you. So it came true. And later on, and also in England, lots of people make fun of Medurorje. They call it mega forgery instead of Medurorje. And I used to laugh with them. I was very much a Judas. So all this that Our Lady said came true. It's very difficult to explain, because if someone had shaken me by the shoulders and said, did you or did you not see Our Lady? I would have said, of course I saw her. But at the same time, I don't know why, I was behaving in this crazy way. And I know my behavior is like a living parable of something in the future. The way I behave is how the church is going to behave in the future. The whole church will act like it's crazy and actually not even confess the Catholic faith somehow, in some strange way. So I know that she didn't tell me about the future exactly, okay? She didn't tell me to become a priest. She didn't tell me to do anything specific, okay? She did say that when I turn again, I must hold firm. And by turn again, she meant turning again to Christ. And holding firm is holding firm on some teaching of the Catholic Church. And when I do so, it will cost me a great deal. There are a few other things she said. She told me I would never lack friends among those with a true devotion to her. But that I won't tell you the rest of it, because it concerns my family. And then, what happened? Oh, she told me not to go looking for her, that I would never see her again, but that she will come for me when I'm dying, if I live a good life. Okay? Yes, so this whole thing, it's a very strange experience, because I don't know, I don't expect any of you to believe me. I don't care if you don't believe me. I really don't, because I saw her. I don't care what you think. But what I do care about is, I want you to believe Our Lady loves you. She loves you like you are the only person in the whole universe, and that you are her child. This wonderful, tender, beautiful love, which I can't describe properly. And I'm telling you this because she told me to tell you. I have no desire to give this talk. In fact, after giving this talk, I always go back to my room and I curl up in a fetal position and suck my thumb. And no, not quite. But that's how I feel inside, because it's very personal. I never want to say this, and I dread giving the talk. Okay, but Our Lady asks me to, and she gives me the strength to, and as soon as I finish, that strength goes, and I'm weak as jelly again. Okay. Now, no, I haven't finished. Well, you want me to finish? Okay. So believe that Our Lady loves you in this way. Now, I want to tell you about the 5 stones of Medurorje, very quickly. You've heard about this, some of you have heard, some of you have not, okay? They are Our Lady's basic message to us in Medurorje, and they're very important, okay? Number 1, prayer. They always say pray with the heart. in Medurorje. Pray with the heart. Do you know what that means? It means to pray without all the kind of nice words that get in the way. I mean, I don't mean to be crude, but I think the only way I can say this probably in my way is, it means pray without what the Americans call BS, and the rest of us call bullshit. Pray without bullshit. What do I mean by that? You know, when you pray, don't tell God things like, oh, you're so nice and lovely and whatever. And the things that are deeply important to you, you don't tell Him. You need to tell Him everything. Because when we don't pray with the heart, that's when we have distractions. Okay? The distractions are the things that are important to us. You know, you go to church and you have distractions, don't you? Yeah? You're thinking, why is that man in the front? Oh, his dentures are rattling and, you know, they're loose and making this noise. Oh, and this girl next to me, she's not wearing enough clothes. You know, it's like too much ham, not enough wrapping. And then you see your neighbor that you can't stand, you think, oh, that witch, she's come here. Oh, I hate her, I hope she trips and breaks her, or whatever, something like that. Yeah, these are the, or you think, I left the front door open, didn't I? And I forgot to do the laundry. These are distractions. Well, if they're distractions, they're important enough to you, they're important enough for you to tell God. So tell Him, please Lord, show this man in front the wonders of Fixodent, so his dentures okay? Or the girl next to me, give her the virtue of modesty and teach her, show her that the kind of guy that she's trying to attract is a complete jerk. Yes? Or the witch that I hate who's come in, my neighbor. You know? Help me to see that I am the real witch. Okay? Or the front door, I left it unlocked. Please, Lord, can you send your angels to guard it and defend it so that no one robs me while I'm at church? And the laundry, make sure I can do the laundry and do everything else later on. Okay? Actually, out of this whole list, only the laundry is my real distraction. I think, oh, I meant to put it in the machine before Mass. I forgot that this is a real distraction. Okay. So distractions are what we should be praying about first and foremost. And then pray with the heart means talk to God like you're talking to your best friend. In a very natural way. Okay? Above all, Our Lady says, pray the rosary. Okay? What is the rosary? I'll give you I've told you a story. You heard this all a few days ago. About the crayon. Did I tell you that? Okay. When we were young, my parents went out for the evening and we got bored, so we took down all the old photo albums, the black and white pictures, and we were looking through them, my grandparents' wedding, my mother's baptism, and this and that, and we were thinking, how come we're not in these pictures? So we had a clever idea. We got a big orange crayon and we drew ourselves in. So at my parents' wedding, there's all four of us at my parents' wedding. And my mother's baptism, there's a gigantic stick figure version of my sister looming over her cradle. And we got into a lot of trouble when my parents came back. But this idea, where am I? This is my family, how come I'm not there? Is a good instinct. Think about those Renaissance paintings, the frescoes. You know, you have the birth of Jesus, Our Lady, St. Joseph, shepherds, wise men, angels, and, you know, Don Stefano and his wife Giovanna, the Lady Giovanna, the patrons, the ones who painted the painting. What do you think? What are they doing in Bethlehem? Or in Florence, the convent of San Marco, the Dominican convent, all those beautiful frescoes by Fra Angelico. You know, the crucifixion and death of Christ with St. Catherine of Siena. You know, or the torment of Christ, you know, crowning with thorns with Our Lady and St. Dominic. You think, well, they weren't there. Well, was Our Lady there? Maybe she was, maybe she wasn't, but St. Dominic wasn't there. St. Catherine wasn't there. That's what the Rosary is. The Rosary is saying, Jesus and Mary are my family, and I should be in my family pictures. So you take the Rosary, it's like your crayon, your orange crayon, and you draw yourself in. You should be in the mysteries, as though you're Gabriel, saying to Our Lady, "Hail, full of grace, the Lord is with thee." Or you are at Jesus being crowned with thorns and watching. Or you are Simon of Cyrene helping Jesus carry the cross. Or you are at the resurrection, you're with Mary Magdalene. Or you're at the coronation of Our Lady with the angels. rejoicing as Our Lady's crowned as Queen of Heaven and Earth, and she's the glory of all the saints. Isn't that marvelous? That's what the rosary is. Your orange crayon. Okay, that's number one, pray with the heart. Number two, scripture. Read this bit of the scripture every day. What do you start with? Don't start with Leviticus or Numbers, you know. Don't read about how to slay the goats and put the blood in pots. Take the New Testament. If you have Magnificat, read the Gospel for the day. First thing in the morning, read that. And if you've forgotten it, read it again at 9 o'clock. If you've forgotten it, read it again at 12 noon. And try and live by what you've read in the Gospel for that day. Okay? Our Lady, this is Our Lady saying this. Read, memorize the scriptures, and live by them. Okay? Then number three, Holy Mass. Go to Mass as often as possible. Certainly on Sundays, but certainly as often as possible. Okay, what is Mass? You know, a Protestant friend of mine said to me, do you Catholics really believe that host is Jesus? I said, yes. And she said, if I believed that, I would run to the church this very instant, fall on my knees at the threshold, and crawl on my knees up to the sanctuary and prostrate myself and worship Jesus and never leave. And I was thinking, how come we don't do that? You know, if you look at our actions, if I was an alien, if I came from Mars and I looked at Catholics in church, I would think, oh, this is a comedy club, and they applaud loudest for the priest who makes them laugh most. You know, that's what I would think. And you know, as for the tabernacle, I'd say, oh, it's a box that they ignore. That's what I would think. Have you seen how Catholics genuflect? They do some kind of curtsy. And I think, since when has our Lord and Saviour turned into the Queen of England? Yeah, that's strange, isn't it? Is it really Jesus or is it not? If it's not, ignore him. Get out of church. Don't even waste your time in church. If it is, why aren't we worshipping him? Fall on our knees and adore him. It's really him, adored by angels, even in our neglect of him. Okay, but it's really him. So Our Lady says, go to Mass as often as possible. You know, and Father Kieran was telling me today, the priest who presided at Mass today, he said, you know, imagine if you put together all your worldly goods and sold them and to buy one special gift and you gave it to someone, okay? And they said, yeah, thanks very much, but I'm not that interested. Would you be hurt? Would you be offended? God gives himself to us in the Eucharist. And if we say, I can't really be bothered with Sunday Mass, oh, you know, do I have to receive communion? What are we doing? Okay. That's madness, isn't it? Madness. Okay. Number 4. I forgot number 4. Oh yes, confession. Confession. How often do you do your laundry? Is it every 7 years? Every 20 years? Every week? Okay. If you don't do your laundry frequently, we will all know, because no one will be sitting around you. There'll be a big gap. If we don't go to confession frequently, there'll be a big gap among the angels around us. They will be holding their noses. Confession is not just the forgiveness of sins. Confession is also God giving us grace, changing us. You know, imagine if you had a cash point machine, an ATM machine for Americans, that was churning out all this money. Would you say, and it was free, and you were welcome to take as much as you liked, would you say, oh, I'll go every 7 years? Reluctantly. Or would you be there every morning, grabbing armfuls and running home with it? Confession is God churning out and lavishing all this grace. You know, like a spiritual ATM cash point machine. We should be grabbing as much as we can. Okay, confession gives us grace. God gives grace through confession, not just the forgiveness of sins. Okay, so don't be afraid of confession. There's nothing you can say that will surprise the priest. Okay, I think I've heard everything under the sun, absolutely everything, and none of it interests me. I always forget immediately after. So, you know, if you tell me, Father, you remember, you heard my confession, the honest answer is no, I don't remember. I do not remember. Why? Because I don't care. Okay, it's none of my business. You're confessing it to Jesus through me. He's the one forgiving you through me. You know? What do I care that you're a sinner? I'm also a sinner. Okay? Are you happy? Good. The last one is fasting. Our Lady asks us to fast on Wednesdays and Fridays. Why? Wednesday is the day that Judas went to the high priest and said, "How much will you give me if I hand him over to you?" The day of the betrayal. Friday is the day of our Lord's passion and death. Okay? So, from the early church, right from the beginning, there's a document called the Didache, the Teaching of the 12 Apostles, written about the year AD 50, 20 years after the resurrection. And it says, "You shall not fast with the hypocrites. They fast on Mondays and Thursdays." The hypocrites here are the Pharisees, okay? And they used to fast Mondays and Thursdays. And it says, "You shall fast on Wednesdays and Fridays." Okay, and to this day, all the Eastern Catholics and the Eastern Orthodox fast on Wednesdays and Fridays. How do you fast? Our Lady says the best fasting is on bread and water. Okay, so what does that mean? You can have as much bread as you like, so you won't be hungry, as much water as you like. You won't be dehydrated. Okay? And I know someone is going to ask me, "Father, what if I can't eat bread?" Just have water. Okay? Just have water. It's great. Okay, why fast? Jesus says, "Some demons are not expelled except through prayer and fasting." And he says, "The day will come when the bridegroom is taken away. Then my disciples will fast." If you are here in Medurorje praying for something really important to you, that you really want, I'm telling you, fast. If you really want it, fast. You know, to show God, I love you more than my mobile phone, more than EastEnders or Days of Our Lives. I love you more than chocolate. I love you more than beer. I love you more than, I don't know, what else do you love? I love you more than all these other things. You know, that's what fasting is saying. And it is very powerful. You know, if you're trying to beat an addiction to drugs or alcohol or pornography or something, fast. You need to fast to be able to defeat such addictions. Okay? Now, so that's the 5 stones. And I'll tell you one last thing. I forgot. I told Our Lady all of my problems. You know, when I saw her, when I heard her, I told her all of my problems at the time, which were very significant, which I won't tell you because I'm being recorded. Okay? But if you're that curious, I'll tell you privately. But, and you know what she did? She ignored me. It felt like a slap in the face because she told me to give my heart to Jesus, pray with a firm faith, and surrender my life to Jesus. So I can see now, looking back, this was the answer to all my problems. So if all of you are going to come and tell me all your problems, my first advice to you is, I'm going to tell you exactly what Our Lady said. If it's good enough for me, it's good enough for you lot. Okay? Pray, give your heart to Jesus. Pray with a firm faith and surrender your life to Jesus. That's what she said. Okay? So, at this point, if there are any questions, by questions I mean sentences that end with a question mark, that's actually asking me for certain information. Not mini homilies, not testimonies, not a long homily, not a sermon of your own, not a comment, but genuine questions. I will be pleased to try and answer them. Okay, any questions? Yes, sir. Okay. The missing bit. The gentleman is asking me, I said, Our Lady didn't talk to me about the future exile.